Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Impeachment proceedings have been initiated against the US President Donald Trump. In this video, let us look at all that you need to know. How the US President can be impeached, what are the grounds for impeachment, who else can be impeached, the history of impeachment proceedings in the United States, all this and much more. So let's get started, beginning with the US Congress or the US Parliament. US Congress is bicameral. There are two houses, House of Representatives or the lower house, Senate or the upper house. Impeachment is a process that allows the US Congress to remove the president from his office. According to the US Constitution, the House of Representatives has the sole power of impeachment, while the Senate has the sole power to try all impeachments. Let me make it simpler for you. The process must initiate in the House of Representatives because House of Representatives has the sole power of impeachment. Various committees can be set up to look into the allegations against the president, to investigate the charges against the president. For example, against Donald Trump, 6 committees of the House of Representatives have been set up. The reports of all such committees are submitted to the Judiciary Committee of the House of Representatives. Now, if the Judiciary Committee feels that there aren't enough reasons to proceed, there isn't sufficient evidence of any wrongdoing on part of the president stays in his office. However, if the Judiciary Committee feels that yes, there are enough reasons to proceed, there is sufficient evidence against the president, then the matter travels to the House of Representatives. Now, in House of Representatives, there shall be voting. If more than half of the members present and voting in the House of Representatives, if they vote in favor of the president and against the impeachment, president stays in his office. However, if more than half of the members present and voting, they vote against the president, they vote in favor of the impeachment, the president is impeached. That means the president is impeached if by simple majority House of Representatives decides to impeach the president from his office. But even then, the president can still continue in his office, the president can still complete his term because Senate has to convict the president. That means once the House of Representatives impeaches the president from his office, the matter travels to the Senate. That means now the president is put on a trial. There is trial in the Senate, and this trial shall be presided over by the Chief Justice of the US Supreme Court. And now there is voting. If more than 2/3 of the members present and voting in the Senate, they decide to vote in favor of the president, then the president stays in his office. However, if more than 2/3 of the members present and voting, if they decide to vote against the president is convicted by the Senate, president is removed from his office, and in this case, the vice president takes over as the president of the United States. That means even after the House of Representatives has impeached the president, he can still continue in his office, he can still complete his term. But if the Senate decides to convict the president by 2/3 majority, he is removed from his office and then vice president takes over as the president of the United States. Now you might ask, what is the reason behind having impeachment and then conviction by the Senate? You need to understand that impeachment is like laying down charges. When the House of Representatives impeaches the president, that means the charges against the president have been formalized. That means it is similar to police filing the charge sheet in the court. Now the court has to decide whether this charge sheet is right or wrong. The court has to decide whether on the basis of this charge sheet, I should convict this accused or not. That is what impeachment and conviction is. To put it very simply, impeachment, charges have been formalized. Conviction, now on the basis of these charges, whether we should convict the president or not. And if the president is convicted, he is removed from his office. This is how the president is impeached and convicted by the Senate. Because according to the US Constitution, House of Representatives has the sole power of impeachment, while the Senate has the sole power to try all impeachments. Now the question is, who else can be impeached? Only the president? No. According to the US Constitution, president, vice president, all the civil officers of the United States can be impeached from their offices. Till date, the House of Representatives has impeached 19 federal officers, 15 judges, 2 presidents, 1 US senator, and 1 cabinet secretary. Who were the 2 presidents impeached? President Andrew Johnson in 1868 and Bill Clinton in 1998. But these presidents were only impeached by the House of Representatives. They were not convicted by the Senate. That is why they completed their term as well. Impeachment proceedings against another US president, Richard Nixon, were terminated. Why? Because Richard Nixon decided to quit. He decided to resign because he knew that he will be impeached by the House of Representatives. He will be convicted by the Senate as well. That is why he decided to save his face and he decided to quit, resign as the President of the United States of America. Let's look at another question. On what grounds can the President be impeached? The grounds mentioned in the Constitution are treason, which is the highest offense against the state, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors. This phrase, high crimes and misdemeanors, is not defined in the Constitution. But let me try and explain this phrase. The year was 1803. A US federal judge, John Pickering, was impeached by the House of Representatives, convicted by the Senate. Why? The charges against him was that he was an alcoholic. He was a man of loose morals. Is that a crime? No. But nevertheless, he was convicted by the Senate and removed from his office after he was impeached by the House of Representatives. The allegation against him was that he is injurious to the society he was to serve. And the way he acted as a judge, he was a bully. And his behavior was unacceptable to the members of the US Congress. And that is why he was removed from his office. That is one explanation of what is the meaning of other high crimes and misdemeanors. Now let's look at another question. What are the charges against Donald Trump? There are multiple allegations against Donald Trump. One major allegation is that he called the president of Ukraine and tried to pressure the Ukrainian president that you should investigate the business dealings of Joe Biden's family. Now, who is Joe Biden? Joe Biden is former US Vice President and in all likelihood, maybe the candidate of the Democratic Party to contest the 2020 elections against Donald Trump. So, the president wanted the Ukrainian president to investigate the business activities of the Joe Biden's family so that Joe Biden's family is discredited and President Trump emerges victorious in the 2020 presidential election. There is another allegation that US would provide military aid to Ukraine. But just before this telephonic phone call between the President of United States and the President of Ukraine, that military aid was withheld. So the allegation is that maybe the US president is trying to put pressure on the Ukrainian president that if you do not investigate the business activities of the Joe Biden family, we will not release this military aid. This amounts to treason, and that is why President Donald Trump may be impeached by the House of Representatives. But will Donald Trump be impeached? Maybe. Why? House of Representatives has the sole power of impeachment. And this House of Representatives is dominated by the Democrats. Donald Trump belongs to the grand old party of the United States, which is the Republican Party. So maybe Donald Trump may be impeached by the House of Representatives. But he can still stay in his office. He can still complete his term because the Senate has to convict Donald Trump. And the Senate is dominated by the Republican Party to which Donald Trump belongs. So Donald Trump can be impeached and convicted by the Senate only and only if his own party members vote against him. That looks unlikely, and that is why maybe Donald Trump may be impeached by the House of Representatives but may not be convicted by the Senate. What about Indian president? Indian president can also be impeached. How? If both houses of the Indian Parliament, Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha, pass a resolution, that too by 2/3 of the total strength of the House, which is the toughest majority under the Constitution, and then the president is impeached from his office. On what grounds? On the charges of violation of the Constitution. And what is this violation of the Constitution? We don't know. Why? Because number one, this phrase violation of the Constitution is not defined in the Constitution of India. And number two, no Indian president has been impeached yet. That is what you need to understand from this topic. Thank you for being with us. Have a great day.